Hello and welcome back to my channel, Darklings. How are you today? I hope all is well. So I had mentioned that I was going to start exposing my left-hand path practice that I've kept personal now for quite a while. And I was going to start talking to you guys about more of my experiences, more of my practice, and kind of help you define where to start on the left-hand path, because I feel like I can do that now. I feel confident enough to do it because I've come that far on my path. um, it is a very personal path and thing for me. I think that's why I kept it personal for so long, because I was still working on defining myself, building myself through my path works, and I've learned a lot. On the left-hand path, perfecting the self or self-excellency or mastering success, liberation of beliefs, the journey of redefining yourself with Lucifer. Creating your self-excellence and creating success to your own godhood. What does it mean for me in my path, and how can you use this? Those are the two things we're going to answer in this video. First, understand, like I said, it's a very personal path. It is personal to each practitioner, magician, sorcerer, whatever you want to call it, okay? And it's not a very easy ride, not for the faint of heart. So it began for me probably about 5 years ago. Although I've been attracted to darkness or everything dark my entire life, I've always been very different from other people in that aspect. I don't know why, but that has always been me. It is starting to be apparent now why, but it's something I didn't know before. I called myself a gray around that time, for a long time I kind of was stagnant in my pagan path as a gray witch. And, I messed with dark and light magic, but the dark made itself known to me, okay? It was calling me, luring me in. I began studying and researching everything I could about Lucifer, Luciferianism, the left-hand path, Satanism. And when life gets hard, as a left-hand path practitioner, you should stand and rise above it. We can all sit here and attempt to sound badass when we say that. But a left-hand path practitioner who tells you, oh, I'm easily just stepped through it, I'm badass, yeah, bullshit, because it's a hell of a ride, okay? The point I'm trying to make is anybody practicing this with these type of entities and this type of essence, you're going to get knocked on your ass. It's getting back up. The comeback is better than the setback. That is the true mentality for this. So at this point in my life was already rocking me for many reasons, guys. I struggled with addiction, depression, you name it, I was going through it, and I have gone through it. So at that time, I became very broken, okay? That primitive mode in life where you're in nothing but survival mode and it feels like it won't lift. I don't know if you can relate to that, but if you go through so much in your life that it brings you to that full-on broken primitive survival mode state, then you'll know what I'm talking about and you'll feel me with that. So at that point I had nothing to lose, only to gain. So I thought it was time that I embraced this calling. So I severed bad habits, starting with my addiction, and I was placed into the position where I had no choice. Funny how they work for you, right? They say they drag you, but really without them, talking about the diamonds, demons, whatever you want to call them, but they do it for good reason, okay? Yeah, I got dragged and was forced into detox, but it was the best thing that could have happened for me at that point in my life. So I severed the bad habits. I still felt lost though, and I identified myself with a lot of negative outlooks, a lot of negative viewing. But through darkness, I saw what I could become, my own God. And then the realization of, I don't need to become my own God, I am my own God. Yeah. Lucifer's light was my light at the end of the tunnel. So when Beelzebub came to me after studying for a while and self-initiating, and I created my temple at this point, I was ready and I embraced this head on. Okay, not really knowing what to expect, but I did know I was on the right track. So needless to say, Beelzebub rocked me in my tower moment when I was beginning this path working with him. And he did this so I could reevaluate myself and rebuild myself to who I really was, to discover key aspects about myself through this path working. So it was all for a reason, and it worked to my benefit and changed me and helped me grow so much. I'll probably be doing a whole separate video just on my path workings because they're each so deep and powerful and taught me so much. So that'll probably be a series later all in its own. Now, at the same time, I was also communicating with Lucifer. I was getting used to the idea of creating that link, that relationship, that bond with Lucifer. So I very much had his energy working through me as well. They were pretty patient with me, but sprung me in many different positions in life, and it was not comfortable. Yet I began to clearly see things in my life, things about myself, that helped me change and grow. Things that seemed so obvious, but I couldn't identify it before. I was changing. I was slowly breaking chains, and I had a lot of them that kept me restrained. Chains I didn't even realize, or restraints I didn't even realize I had. In all aspects of my life, too. And then Beelzebub told me he would appear to me, but Belial came next. I felt his energy strong and intensely when he first came to me. It felt like a familiar essence, though. And I realized, oh fuck, this spirit has been with me for a while, and I didn't even know. I had just like caught on to that realization. For a while, that fire in me was dormant. But when Belial came into the picture, that fire in me, that resistance that I had to society, to authority my entire life, it began to help me merge with my inner self and my higher self. I began to be able to liberate myself from these restraints and identify what was restraining me. As a primitive beast in the wild, but with intellect to match and balance that, I was truly knowing who and what I was, and therefore could recognize who I wanted to be. And with my newfound path, I began to seek, really drive for the trials that the path workings and the daemons would put me through. Painful, yes, but the knowledge of self, the understanding of self, what it takes to be the best version of myself, to achieve that self-excellency, it began to be addicting to me. I wanted to know what was the next obstacle. So then came the shadow work. The daemons dragged me through intense shadow work, okay, that again I wasn't even aware of. I had been doing shadow work for years and thought I was doing well with that. This could be a novel itself alone, just the shadow work. I almost felt crazy, okay, insane, out of my mind. My head, my reality was rocked at this point. And my body physically felt the effects as well. I could not sleep, and when I could sleep, I would always wake up at 3 a.m. drenched in sweat and could feel Belial's presence in the room. I knew he wanted me to take this head on, to understand what they were trying to show me. I just wasn't getting it at the time. So I remember kind of going into this whole blame game, like, oh, you spirits are just, you're doing this to me, you know. But he taught me one of the most important lessons I could learn. That they were not causing this. I was. Tastes like vinegar to admit that. The torment of the shadow in my own mind was just that. My own torment. I was pissed at myself upon discovering this. And I became ignited with that flame and chose to be that black sorcerer, to rise to the occasion and say, hell no, I'm a fucking phoenix. I was powerful and I knew that. And I had allies now. It felt great. I'm going to continue to deliver you my stories and my success through my left-hand path working. And I have plenty of adventures to share as well. But the purpose in this video, the point I want to make here, to help you to start your left-hand path journey, is self-awareness, self-identification without restraints, and self-empowerment, self-excellency. Understanding yourself and striving for growth, liberation, and ascent is the ultimate goal. If you want to start this path, I recommend knowing and applying the 11 points of power. I did a video on that. I will put that in the description. Look up Luciferian ideology and self-ideology first. It will be, now the self-ideology aspect of this path will be personal. It'll definitely be a to each their own type of thing. But the whole philosophy, the whole left-hand path outlook is achieving that self-excellency, that ascent, the best version and most powerful, successful version of yourself you can be, your own God. And a lot of the rest will kind of fall into place, even through all the chaos magic or energy you feel. It all really does fall into place, and if you don't understand it at the time, you will see it. You will. It will be revealed to you. So I hope you continue to follow me on this journey. I have a lot more to talk about, a lot more to reveal, but I'm kind of easing you in so you can grasp that main understanding of my mentality, where I was at when I started, just to paint you a bigger picture of my lowest point in life and how I rose to the badass sorceress I am today. I know this is a bit of a change for my channel because I was helping all paths, giving views on paths I've already worked, pagan traditions, belief systems that I worked through already on my spiritual journey. And now I've just ended up here, and it works for me the best. And yeah, so I'm definitely shifting toward exposure of my path, my journey on this, documenting it and sharing it with you, and also the information and knowledge that I gain learning from this path. So we're going to have a lot of fun, guys. Just wait till I get to the incubi and succubi parts. You'll love that. In darkness, I find my light. Hail Lucifer. And much love.